Some of you know that I studied abroad in Amsterdam, and this July I returned with two of my friends, Jenny and Sarah, to the familiar sight of cyclists and canals with boats carrying the Dutch flag going down them, the Royal Palace in Dam Square, more canals, the beautiful central station with a piano inside that anyone is free to play. And hey look, I took even more footage of canals. Our hostel was on the northern side of Amsterdam, which meant that each morning we took a ferry across the River Amstel to get to the central part of Amsterdam, travelling with fellow tourists and Amsterdam residents on their way to work alike. Some of my favourite study abroad memories took place by the River Amstel. Confession: I much prefer its open waters to the canals that Amsterdam is famous for. That being said, one of the highlights of the trip was pedal boating around the canals. Second confession: I was not particularly good at steering. Unbeknownst to us, Pride celebrations had already started in Amsterdam. Presumably they were extra large this year because they were also hosting Europride. Unfortunately, we didn't really get to see any of the Pride events, but we did get to go to the Cat Sanctuary. It was a place I'd always intended to visit but had never really gotten round to, and it was absolutely perfect. I couldn't resist that pun, sorry. Another highlight of the trip was all of the food, from pancakes to poffertjes, which are mini pancakes, and sorry to any Dutch listeners for that pronunciation. A delicious and fancy sandwich place that was very close to one of my former university buildings, and bagels and beans. Bagels and beans is the one thing I always recommend when people tell me that they're going to Amsterdam. There's all kinds of wonderful and filling bagels. This was a mushroom burger one. And also great coffee, hence the beans part, though I prefer going for the chocolate milk. Snack-wise, there was the fun of the machines that dispense all kinds of snacks. A stroop waffle and strawberry invention by Sarah and Jenny. Very healthy waffles for breakfast. And delicious fries with wonderful mayo. Aside from all the food that we paid for, there was an awful lot of cheese tasting in a variety of cheese shops on the trip. My favourite kind of cheese remains Dutch Gold. Of course, Amsterdam is also famous for its museums. We went to Red Light Secrets, which is about prostitution. It was really informative and gave a behind-the-scenes look of something that Amsterdam is well known for. We also went to the Anne Frank house, which you're not allowed to film inside. It was my second time visiting, and again, it was a very surreal place to go to. Another museum we went to was the Rijksmuseum, which houses lots of art, both Dutch and non-Dutch, from across centuries. One of my favourite places in Amsterdam is the Eye Museum, which doesn't really feel like a museum. There are exhibitions on cinema and film, but also there are plenty of cinema screens and a very large bar/dining area. Even though the expedition was closed when we went, we still got to listen to some interviews on the making of jewels. Overall, it was a great trip and it was really nice to be back in Amsterdam again. I feel like I preferred the experience of living there to being a visitor there, and I definitely wouldn't love the city as much as I do if it hadn't been for my study abroad experience. Though for my next trip, I definitely want to try and go somewhere new.